the first fight before the opening ceremonies is an interesting one. So for those who didn't watch the latest RIZIN Confessions, go watch it. It kind of tells a little bit of the story here. But these are two young guys where RIZIN was kind of developing them internally and hosted like an internal little tournament. And now we have this tournament finals in their first pro MMA fight. Well, one of them, their first pro MMA fight. We have Kenshin Saito up against Sanou Yokouchi. Yokouchi's 0-1 as a pro going up against Saito, who's making his pro debut. Not a lot of information on these guys at all. I will say 16 and 18-year-old going up against each other here. So young guns. Okay, so he is making his pro debut. My bad. Sanou Yokouchi is making his pro debut. He had one amateur fight in which he lost at deep 116 Impact, where he got knocked out in the first round. So this one, again, I was kind of going off what RIZIN Confessions said about them, what our friends of the We Are RIZIN podcast said about them, and you can find highlights of these guys both on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm going to go with Sanou Yokouchi. Yeah, I just think I'm going to go with the guy who has a little bit of MMA experience, even if it was in a loss at the amateur ranks. I will say that RIZIN does seem to like Yokouchi quite a bit, and it seemed like in the confessions that they're kind of wanting to push him just to become a regular roster fighter or maybe even a star. At the end of the day, Jay Wolf, like, I think I went above and beyond trying to find anything on these guys, and I still think it's a coin flip. So I'm going with Sanou.
Okay, just for so we don't agree on every single pick, I'm going to go with Saito on this one. Did you happen to see? I was not able to find any information about their because this Koshien final is part of a tournament, like you were saying, of like amateur tournament. Basically, these young guns. It's like a young gun tournament, amateur tournament for these guys, and the winner is going to get like a RIZIN contract right here. This is it's like a tough show in UFC, right?
Yeah.
Like the winner of Tough gets a UFC contract. It's kind of the same concept here with the Koshien final on RIZIN. So I don't know, on the confession series that you're talking about, that's on YouTube, on RIZIN's YouTube channel for all the listeners.
With subtitles, well built in. It's good, this one.
Yes, very, very well done. So I didn't really see we don't have any footage of the actual Koshien tournament, amateur tournament. So really only the Japanese would be able to tell us anything about, those that watch the Koshien tournament. So, but you're going with Yokouchi. I'm going to go with Saito here.
All right.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you why I'm going to go with him, because it says here on Tapology he's 5'7", whereas Yokouchi is only 5'4". So Saito might be the bigger fighter in the ring, at least the taller fighter. So if he's that much taller, 3-inch taller, he might have a longer reach. So that's why I'm going to give him the edge, or at least pick him now the edge.
Moving on to the next one, the 9th fight on this card. In total, we have 2 kickboxing crossovers making their pro MMA debut. We have Taiga Kawabe up against Genji Umeno. Genji Umeno, 36 years of age, an absolute stud throughout his career in kickboxing, up against the 28-year-old Kawabe. Umeno, in his last 2 fights, is actually on a streak. He beat Yuta Saito via majority decision in kickboxing and beat Mamoru Uoi in also a unanimous decision. He did lose to Hiroki Suzuki back in 2023 and had a no contest against Ren Hiramoto, funny enough, in a boxing match. So despite him getting up there in age, like, in his last 7 fights, he's 4-1 and 1 no contest in his last 7 fights. Having said that, Kawabe, man, I got him winning this one. He's 28 years of age. He has not lost since 2021, and since then he has had 8 fights. So 1 draw within those 8 fights, and that was in RIZIN at RIZIN 34. He won the Rise title in kickboxing against Chan Hung Lee at Rise 175, and then fought Daniel Puertas at the Rise World Series and beat him unanimous decision. He's younger, he hits harder. Neither have like historic KO power, but I do think Kawabe does hit harder out of the two. Kawabe is the minus 260 favorite as well. And basically what it comes down to for me, J Wolf, is who trained more MMA for this one. And I got to imagine at 28 years old, Kawabe can still carve out an MMA career if he doesn't want to do kickboxing anymore. Whereas again, Umeno, it's just tough at this stage in his career, especially when he's having success still in kickboxing and probably didn't plan on making an MMA venture anytime soon. That's my opinion. I'm going with the younger Kawabe.
I'm going to go with Taiga as well, Taiga Kawabe as well. Also, this is, like you're saying, this is an MMA bout, 2 kickboxing crossovers. And this is their, according to Topology, this is their first MMA bout for each of them. And, we saw that at Super RIZIN 3, right, with Koji and Catfish, Ashizawa, right? And that produced one of the fights of the year this year. So I'm really interested to see how, that's probably why they're doing these, where they put kickboxing crossovers on their, in mixed martial arts, because they want to, continue the, amazing, the Catfish and Koji fight was just incredible. I love seeing how when you're tweeting, when people are putting up all these fight of the year lists and stuff, and you're like sitting there going, dude, if you don't include this fight, your list is ass.
It's true.
I just love seeing those tweets.
That is fight of the year. It's fight of the year, and it's not. And quite frankly, dude, it's not even close.
I just love it. I just love it how you hold them all accountable. And just you say no. This one is if your list does not include this one, your list is ass and is not. Dude, that was fight of the year. I just love it. I love it.
Thank you.
So
thank you.
For this one, I got Taiga as well, younger, like you're saying, and could if he wants to continue in mixed martial, which is probably what they're banking on. Actually, to be honest with you, and that's also why he's probably the minus 200 favorite, is because if he wins here, he can continue going on in mixed martial arts like Koji and Kubo and all them, and Catfish Ashiwaza and all them, and Ren Hiramoto, and it just seems like that's the path that they want for Taiga as well. So, and but Umeno, like you're saying, that's a nice big name for him in his first mixed martial arts debut. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, I got Taiga winning, and I hope, like you said, that they should be training with mixed martial arts, but hopefully they know the assignment. And we see some superior rule set here. And I just think that, Taiga, imagine some grounded kicks from him or something, So I can see this one ending violently. And I hope it's obviously not going to be on par with Cozy and Catfish. So I don't want it, but I just think that, it's worth mentioning that, don't write this off just because it's 2 kickboxing crossovers that never fought mixed martial arts before, because it's a superior rule set bout. And as history has showed us, when it's 2 kickboxing crossovers like this, it can produce absolute banger, arguably a fight of the year banger. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. All right, we're moving on to the big boys. We have Satoshi Kamiyama up against Ed Polo King. Ed Polo King is huge. He is an absolute monster, standing 6'8", ladies and gentlemen, 6'8", up against Satoshi, who is 6'3", still a big boy, 6'3". He is a 1-3 as a pro. He won his last fight against Cody Jerabek. In my opinion, an upset. I thought Cody Jerabek was going to come in and absolutely just beat the shit out of Kamiyama, but Kamiyama actually landed a great shot and was able to knock him out. Before then was on a 3-fight losing streak. He lost to Urata, he lost to De Oliveira, he lost to Hideki Sakine in a brutal grounded kick. Now, all 3 of those guys he fought were pretty good opponents. 11-5, 5-2, 9-0. So no shame in losing to those guys. And it was cool to see that he was able to actually beat Cody Jerabek. Now, Ed Polo King is making his MMA debut, kickboxing crossover from Breaking Down, which is interesting. What information do you have for the viewers on the 23-year-old Ed Polo King out of Breaking Down in this one?
Honestly, I don't have much other than that he's giant Brazilian fighter and young gun Brazilian fighter from Breaking Down. And I mean, and Satoshi Kamiyama his nickname is Takakenshin. That's Sudario's brother. and he's a sumo crossover, right? So it's gonna be real interesting. This is professional MMA, so I just see Takakenshin, Satoshi Kamiyama taking him down and just getting a finish on this one.
Okay.
I think that I don't know. I mean, it's just I don't have. There's so little footage of Ed Polo King. I mean, and when you're that tall, I could see Takakenshin tripping him, scoring some kind of a trip or some kind of a takedown, right? Because I don't think he's gonna. When you're that tall, it's easier to get you down. I think because you're so tall and lanky, and it's like you're susceptible to trips and stuff like that. So unless he nails him with a knee on the way, when he's shooting for a takedown. But we'll see how it plays out. But I really think that Takakenshin is going to score a trip, some kind of trip takedown or something. And once he gets it to the ground, I think Ed Polo King, unfortunately, is just going to be – he's not going to be able to get back up because Takakenshin is a big boy. These are some big fighters in there. And it's going to be a lot of weight for Ed Polo King. And he's a kickboxing crossover. I just don't think he's going to have the stand-up ability in his debut fight against a fighter like Takakenshin. But you never know. Because, I mean, one of those losses from Takakenshin was against a fighter named Kaiju Killer. And in that fight, he had an opportunity – Takakenshin had opportunity to win that fight. But he didn't know the assignment. And what I mean by that is he had opportunity to win via superior rule set by grounded kicks or grounded knees. And he didn't know the assignment. So he was not throwing superior rule set strikes. And that allowed Kaiju Killer to get back up and get back into the fight and eventually come back and win that fight when Takakenshin gassed out in the third round. So does he understand the assignment now? Has he learned from that mistake? If he hasn't, if he gets Ed Polo King down and he doesn't do any superior rules to finish the fight, Ed Polo King is a massive fighter, right? So if Takakenshin's not going to be able to finish him with superior rule set, will he be able to finish him with punches, or will it, be able to go into the later rounds? I don't know, but. What do the odds say? Let me ask you that. What do the odds say for this one? That'll be really interesting to see.
So Ed Polo King is the favorite at minus 210. So honestly,
Really?
I think
Wow.
Takakenshin's a pretty good underdog. But basically, this is it. Ed Polo King has nasty knees, dude, and he's so tall. So I think if Takakenshin doesn't take him down with any sort of technique, if he just kind of bum rushes him or just tries to grab him to drag him to the ground, Ed Polo King is going to have at least an opportunity to elbow him or knee him. Like you said, Polo King's a big guy. Takakenshin's a big guy. There's a big target there for those knees. So I do think Ed Polo King is more dangerous. Both have power. Basically, if Takakenshin doesn't use his grappling or wrestling, doesn't use that sumo base to get his opponent to the ground, he's going to lose on the feet. And he's going to get brutally knocked out on the feet if he doesn't take this to the ground.
You know what? I agree with you because... Well, you know what? We got to see if he knows the assignment. I agree with you about him being a live dog for this one. No, I just can't because Ed Polo King's making his debut. We don't really have any footage. We don't know what his grappling is like, right? Because correct me if I'm wrong.
He has no grappling. I'm just going to say we don't need to go into this one too much longer. If Ed Polo King keeps us on the feet, he's going to win. If Takakenshin takes it to the ground, he's going to win. So that's what I'm saying.
There we go.
I'm saying Takakenshin, he's a good underdog. You're picking him. Yeah. I'm picking Ed Polo King. I don't think Takakenshin's good at MMA at all, and I don't think we will take this guy to the ground. So
okay, there we go.
All right,
great. Let's move on to the next one.
Let's get to the next one. We have Koji Takeda against Suguru Ni.
Ooh, nice. This is a good one.
Yes, I'm very excited for this one. I'm a big fan of Suguru Ni. Everyone thinks Suguru Ni is washed for some reason because he lost his last fight, I suppose. But Suguru Ni still has a lot of gas left in the tank, in my opinion. So Suguru Ni, like we said, is taking on Koji Takeda. Koji Takeda is 16-7 as a pro. Suguru Ni 19-12. Suguru Ni is 33 years of age. Takeda 29. Now Takeda, 1-4 in his last 5 fights, 7-8 as a pro in RIZIN. So just hasn't been doing well since dropping down a weight class. Got absolutely destroyed by Shadulaev. Like, welcome to the weight class. You're going up against Shadulaev. He did beat Hagiwara, but Hagiwara has zero ground game, barely any takedown defense. And you know what? He actually showed some takedown defense in that one against Takeda, which was concerning in my opinion, given how Takeda has a wrestling background. Suguru Ni, he lost his last fight to Majima simply because he's not as good of a grappler as Majima, but Suguru Ni is a good grappler, and he's been on kind of a late, I don't even say late career, you know what, yeah, I will say a latter half of his career resurgence. He's 19-12 as a pro, but don't let that fool you. He's 4-1 in his last 5 fights, king of Pancrase, 11 submissions, 3 KO TKOs, 5 decisions. He's fought in RIZIN, Pancrase, Deep, freaking X1 World Events, whatever that is. But anyways, coming into his Majima fight, he was on a hell of a win streak. He landed a beautiful finish against his high school buddy, and we've talked about that quite a bit on this show. Again, no shame in losing to Majima, in my opinion. I just don't think Takeda has it, man. I think he's a one-trick pony. I think I don't want to say scared to strike, but there's something there that, like, this guy just doesn't want to stand and bang. And I've seen him have some boxing technique. I mean, it's nothing special, but like, I've seen it there where I feel like Takeda's his own worst enemy, and you cannot hold anything back against a guy like Suguru Ni, who is extremely well-rounded. Right? So Takeda's more of a pure grappler. I think Suguru Ni is dangerous everywhere. Better striking, better grappling, better jiu-jitsu, just overall well-rounded. And I'm doubtful that Takeda takes him down with ease. I'm doubtful Takeda submits him and controls him like Majima was able to do so quickly. And you know what? This is free money, baby, because Suguru Ni is plus 190.
Ooh, nice. That is a very live dog. I'm going to go with Takeda. I love Takeda because he does. I mean, we know from his past fights, he knows the assignment. He has one of my favorite combos I've ever seen in the Epic RIZIN. He had a combo where he had a suplex he suplexed the guy, then spun around and hit him with a grounded knee. And then that made the guy his opponent sort of like fall aside, like on, and then he stood up and did a stomp. So it was like a suplex to like a grounded knee soccer kick style strike to then a stomp combo. It was just one of my favorite combos I've ever seen there. And I like Takeda. He's a good fighter. And just I'd like to see him get back on the winning track, because remember they were wanting him to like get in a title picture. Look at his opponents that he's been facing. They always put him in there against really tough fight. Like you're saying, when he dropped down a weight class, they're like, "Oh, welcome to bantamweight. Or featherweight. Here's Shadulaev, one of the killers that we just signed." Right? So, I mean, but. This one, I don't know. That's interesting that Ni is the underdog. That's a very live dog. So I would like to, I love picking the underdogs, but I just got to go with Takeda here. I'm hoping to see, he's 29, not even 30 yet. And just, I want to see some suplexes from him and some superior rule set action from him. I know he's got the ability. I know he knows the assignment. So if he just puts it together and stops being gunshot like you're talking about, I don't know if that's because of the weight cut or what, but if he just starts pulling the trigger and lets go, and starts throwing these suplexes and stuff again, I think he could probably win. And that's probably why the odds makers have him as the slight favorite. So, but we'll see how it plays out. I mean, it's just, oh man, it's such a close fight. No, I'm picking Takeda. I was thinking about going with the underdog again for Ni, but I want to pick Takeda and plus because Ni is also one of the Drew, one of our friends, Drew from We Are RIZIN podcast. I love breaking balls with him because he's one of his favorite fighters. So whenever he loses, it's fun to just troll him about it. So it'll be like an extra bonus if Ni loses this, so I can troll Drew about it, because Ni we were wanting him to get into the title picture sooner rather than later, but Majima spoiled the plans in the last fight, of course. So hopefully Takeda can spoil the plans again, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm going to pick Takeda. I'm going to say Takeda knows the assignment still. He has not forgotten the assignment, and he's got better better wrestling than me. So I'm guessing he's going to be able to get to the ground. And if he knows the assignment, maybe he can score a superior rule set, finish the ground and knees or another ground and kick. So we'll see how it goes. But that's my pick.
Sweet.
This is a really, really good fight. This is one of the ones that I'm really looking forward to. It's a very well matched, and that's why the odds are so close. And it's a lot of fun. This is whoever wins this is going to get right back on track, right? Like Neil, if Neil wins this, he's going to get right back into the title picture probably. Like they'll be saying, okay, well, if he wins this, we're going to throw him some more contenders. And same thing with Takeda. If Takeda wins this, we're going to be okay. Then let's start giving him those, tough opponents again and get him right back in the title picture see if he can make it here. So this is a really great fight. One of a banger, right? Of the main card here of RIZIN.49 or Decade. So I just can't wait to see how it plays out.
So next, RIZIN, man, for a legend of the game, for a legend of the sport, for a legendary name being Sakuraba, RIZIN really is just repeating history, throwing Saku Jr. right into the fire, and they did this with his dad, putting him in there against Vanderlei too many times, throwing their star in there, their big name in Sakuraba against guys that could honestly really hurt him and beat him, and they're doing the same thing. Taisei Sakuraba making his pro MMA debut, and they put him up against Yusuke Yachi. What are they doing, bro? Yusuke Yachi 27-14, but don't let that fool you. He's a former title challenger. He's 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He just beat Sho Patrick Usami, and I'm pretty sure Yachi was the underdog in that one. Yeah, he lost in Bellator to Barnui. He wrestled the whole time. He beat an 11-9 guy, a 15-14 guy, and a 16-4-1 guy before that. He's been bouncing back and forth between RIZIN. Actually, he's just been in RIZIN. And like I said, a former title challenger. Look, man, I'm rooting for Mini Saku, but this guy has had no mixed martial arts experience. Now, look, he trained under his father. He clearly has good wrestling. But you're going up against the crazy B product in Yachi, who's insanely well-rounded. 6 KO TKOs, 4 submissions, 17 decisions. I don't know, man. Like I cannot pick Sakuraba in this one. I have to go with Yusuke Yachi as the favorite here, minus 240. Again, why are they doing Sakuraba dirty now? The second generation.
Well, hey, think about the flip side. What if he wins? He has a win on his debut over a big time name. Yachi's a big name over there in Japan. He's a beloved fighter, for a long time over there. They've been trying to give him pushes to get in the title picture, like you were saying. But also another factor about this one, Sakuraba Jr. is going to be physically bigger, taller, and bigger, and younger than Yachi. So, good. So we're picking different guys. You're picking Yachi, good veteran pick. I'm picking Sakuraba Jr. And I'm thinking that he's gonna, by submission too. We'll
Kimura. He's gonna get his patented Sakuraba Kimura.
Yes. If not a Kimura, like an armbar or RNC or something, right? So
you know what though? What I have in my notes is that he could out wrestle Yachi and go for the Kimura. I'm actually, and maybe that's why the odds are this close, because it's not super far off. I mean, Sakuraba is plus 210 and even plus 185 on some books. I just think, like I said, Yachi, former title challenger, has fought all of RIZIN's top guys. Even when he's lost to them, he's held his own. Obviously, he's the better striker, but I do think he's fought enough guys with grappling that he can hold his own on the ground. But let's see if he can out wrestle, or at least defensively wrestle, against a Sakuraba. So we're on opposite for this one. I'm going with the veteran. You're going with the newcomer.
I'm going with the legend's son here, Saku Jr., the young gun, only 26, bigger fighter, going to be taller, probably way more, and obviously longer reach, all that stuff. I'm just thinking, I just feel like he can, if he gets it down, especially, I feel like he's going to get the submission. That's one of the livest dogs on the whole card here. I know Yachi's a great fighter. Everybody loves him. And that's why they're doing this fight. They're putting a young gun star, obviously, because he's Saku Jr., right, against a veteran star, right? So whoever wins, it's like a win-win situation for them, especially if Saku Jr. wins. So that's interesting that the odds have it pretty close, but they have Saku Jr. as a plus 200 underdog. I think that's worth a look, to be honest with you. I just think if he can get him down, as we saw with Yachi, even though he fought Barnawi in France, Barnawi's home turf, basically, he still was, just. But Barnawi is a fantastic grappler, but so is Saku Jr. That's my point. Is that Yachi?
I haven't seen it yet, Jay. I haven't seen it. I've seen his last name. That's it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We're assuming here. That's the thing. That's why I just can't, because I haven't seen. I've seen edited footage from RIZIN. I haven't seen him actually fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's where I stand. Right. But again, that's why the odds are that close. So I respect the pick. I just can't do. I can't swing on that underdog.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the next one here. Makoto Shinryu is back, and he's taking on Shorty Jose Torres, man. Shout out to Torres, by the way. He's doing some great work as a commentator on the Luke's promotion, the top Mexican regional promotion. He's 12-3-1 as a pro, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, is the UFC veteran. And he's been fighting recently in Brave, and he was actually the former Brave champion, fighting some of the best guys in Brave, and Brave's a very, very tough league, ladies and gentlemen.
In the Middle East, in the MENA region.
Yes. 4 KO TKOs, 2 submissions, 6 decisions. He went 1-1 in the UFC, cut way too early. 4-2-1 in Brave, and actually went 7-0 in Titan FC, which is a really good regional show here in North America. So he won via split decision the title in Brave against a 6-1 guy, then lost to him in his title defense, and they went to have the trilogy, and he lost to him via unanimous decision. So he had 3 relatively close fights against the same guy in a trilogy affair, one of Brave's top guys who was the champion. Before then, he beat a 13-2 guy in Brave, 9-3, draw against a 23-7. And he's been winning decisions in Brave, which, let's just say, it's not easy to do. He beat Amir Albazi. He actually gave Amir Albazi his first ever loss in Brave, not even the UFC. Lost to Alex Perez in the UFC and beat Jared Brooks in the UFC. Dude, this guy has beaten so many good names. And in Titan FC, he defended his Titan FC title twice before jumping over to the UFC and now Brave. So he's fought really, really good competition, and he's very well-rounded. I would say he's the better boxer than Makoto Shinryu, but let's be honest, most guys are, as Makoto Shinryu doesn't really have that great of striking. He's a very talented grappler. I wouldn't even say the best offensive wrestler. He's kind of like a spaz wrestler with crazy polished jiu-jitsu. 18-3-1 as a pro. So I know a lot of people are saying, well, Shorty Torres has more experience than him. Shorty Torres is 12-3-1. Makoto Shinryu has way more fights than Shorty Torres in his pro career, despite being only 24 years of age. However, I would say the experience edge still probably goes to Torres just because of the level of competition that he's fought in total. That's not to say Makoto Shinryu hasn't been fighting good competition in the last 2 years, but for example, Jay, if he went to a split decision against Kenta Hayashi in Deep. Now, Kenta Hayashi was 8-2. That's fine. Bro, you should be beating him unanimously or finishing him if you want to be a RIZIN champ or one of the best Japanese prospects in the world. Lost Ogi Kubo in a competitive affair. Before then, beat Jung-Hyung Lee, again, guy with a super padded and inflated record. I mean, RIZIN was saying he was 8-1. Nah, dude, he's 4-1. Let's be honest here. And before then, fought Horiguchi twice. So, I mean, it's tough to say that Shinryu, compared to Torres, hasn't fought the best competition, especially if you look at his last 5 fights. But if you look at his career in total, the former Deep champ, the former Cage Fury FC champ in Makoto Shinryu, I think is going to lose this one. I'm going with Torres.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do too, because you know me, I love my American fighters. I always root for my American fighters, and I'm so happy with this fight right here. really looking forward to this one, seeing what Shorty Torres can do on a superior rule set. And Shinryu is no joke, though. I know he's a young gun fighter, but he is really, and he, like you said, he probably doesn't have as good as striking, but he's an excellent fighter. He's one of their top flyweight fighters. That's why they had him in the title fight against Horiguchi recently, and probably too early, I might add, because Shinryu was still, I think at the time he was only like 23, so it was. I think. But anyways, the point is he's a good fighter, but so is Shorty Torres. And I want to ask you: is this the fighter that Sugar Sean O'Malley is in Japan to corner?
I honestly didn't know that Sean was going there to corner anybody. I thought Sean was going there to record a podcast and hang with Saki Kabara. So it's news to me. I had no idea that Sean was going there to corner anyone. I literally thought RIZIN was paying him to come over and do. Like, hey, record your podcast here and, shake hands and kiss baby. So I have no idea who Sean's cornering, to be perfectly honest. I don't think that Torres fights out of the MMA lab, though.
Okay, so never mind. Then I did not know that Sugar Sean was going over there just for to record a podcast and to hang with Sakakibara-san.
Yeah, he's an ambassador.
That's kind of incredible in and of itself, because that shows Sugar Sean is one of the UFC's biggest stars right now, right? Especially the lighter weight classes.
It's showing that it's showing that there is a relationship, an active relationship between the UFC and RIZIN right now, which is very cool.
Yeah, because I thought he was going there to corner somebody. I didn't know he was just going there straight up to just do podcasting and stuff. That's really interesting. So, but anyways, look, getting back to this fight. I got Shorty Torres as well, and not just because he's an American fighter, because he's a veteran. You got UFC experience. He's got big stage experience. Being on the big stage in RIZIN is not going to intimidate him, and he also has fought excellent competition, just like Shinryu. So it's not like he's going to be going in there facing a fighter that's got more experience than him, basically. So I'm going with Jose Shorty Torres here. Yeah. And what do the odds say for this one? I'm curious.
There are no odds on this one.
What?
Yeah.
How can there be no odds on this one?
And get this.
One of the best fights.
And no one's voted on Tapology either.
There actually are odds on this one at the time of recording. It was the last matchup to actually hit the sports books. Shorty Torres is the plus 155 underdog. Shinryu minus 185. 500 people have voted on Tapology now. 79% pick Shinryu.
So I have no idea where the crowd. Yeah, dude, I have no idea where people's pulse is on this one. What I will say is Shinryu has crumbled in fights against better competition, where Jose Torres just gets better. So that's kind of where I'm judging this on, is Jose Torres bites down on his mouthpiece and just gets the job done. Whereas Shinryu, you can see him fighter, bro. You can see him fade.
Fighter on a superior rule set.
There you go.
I just cannot wait. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But let's keep it rolling. Got Shorty Torres, but let's keep it moving.
All right. We have Mikio Ueda against Tae In Kim in this next one. Tae In Kim is out of Korea. He's 31 years of age. Tall dude, 6'1", usually fights at light heavyweight. So he's barely hitting the 200 pounds coming into this one, but he's a tall, lanky fighter who has a really good double leg, really good at actually dragging big guys to the ground with his body lock and his trips, and he's got some good ground and pound and decent striking as well. He's 5-0 as a pro. He reigns from Road FC, where he's undefeated, and he's the Road FC light heavyweight champion, where he got his last two wins to win the belt and to defend the belt, both via first round finishes. Actually, all his pro finishes are first round finishes except for his first one. Even his two amateur fights are first round finishes, ground and pound. Ueda 3-2 as a pro, lost his last fight to that Polish heavyweight who came in, and actually it was a pretty competitive affair until he got armbarred. He was on a 3-fight win streak before that, beating Sudario actually as the underdog, knocking him out with that big boy karate style, beautiful head kick. And he actually beat Hideki Sakine, who's 12-6 at the time, and some random dude in Grochin who was making his debut. I do like Ueda's striking style, right? Karate style, and he has shown that he's getting better on the ground, getting better with the mixed martial arts. Tae In Kim's the favorite in this one at minus 210.
Really?
I get why.
Wow.
Because his technique when it comes to grappling and his wrestling, it's better than Ueda's, and he's a rangy striker despite being undersized for heavyweight. So I think that's where the odds are going. But Ueda, if he cracks him with a head kick or just with a straight punch or a hook, he's bigger. He's got that karate background. He's a striker first, and if he somehow reverses Tae In Kim, just using that weight, I'm a heavyweight, you're a light heavyweight. Enough said. Using his power and strength on the ground to just get that big belly on top of him, he could just grind out a victory in this one. So, God, who are you picking for this one? Because I'm going back and forth.
I'm with you. I'm going Mikio Ueda. I love my karate Takakenshin fighters. Kyokushin karate is what he does, right? So I love my Kyokushin karate fighters. So I'm picking Ueda. But I just want to say about Tae In Kim, I love the collaboration with Road FC, one of the top Korean promotions, if not the top Korean promotion. Although the news that Black Combat now allows superior rule set in their fight, I think that gives them the edge over Road. So it's really great to see there's two fantastic Korean promotions producing fantastic talent. I'm really looking forward to this one. But yeah, I'm going with my Kyokushin karate fighter, Mikio Ueda, on this one. The bigger fighter, like you're saying, even though he's against a stud light heavyweight from Korea, I just think that, but he's also younger. He's not even 30 yet. Man, I just got to go with Ueda. So I was picking Ueda.
It's very close. I think Ueda is a great underdog. He is you can get him at plus 150 on some books as well. So it's very close, and I feel like I'm going to regret this one, but I'm watching too much Korean MMA. I'm watching Road after recording this. I'm watching. I watched Black Combat the other day. But yeah, I'm going with Tae In Kim. And you know what? It's crazy to say this. I'm not picking him based on his striking. I'm picking him based on his beautiful wrestling technique, and I'm banking on him being strong enough just to stay in the top position, land some elbows, and get that ground and pound finish. Because his double leg is beautiful if he can get it done, but usually he shoots for it after they throw a punch and uses the momentum right. Like I said, like the wrestling is very, very sound, mind you, not against the best guys at light heavyweight. He's a decent striker, but he's not a true heavyweight. However, Ueda just doesn't have grappling at his level, but he obviously has the strength, the size. So I think that Ueda does have the kicks advantage too. We know how much power he has in his kicks. We know his front kicks are good. We know his side kicks are good. He's got good flexibility that he actually can kick you in the head closer in range than probably most heavyweights can. Shout out to the karate style. But overall, I think Tae In Kim's more well-rounded. But if you're dropping some money on this card, Ueda, not a bad underdog at all.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Before we continue on to the remainder of the picks and predictions video, just wanted to let you guys know that audio is a little bit compromised moving forward. As you can see, we had some technical issues when recording this picks and predictions video. J-Wolf had to call in, and the program in which we used, and have always used to record here on the channel, was just buggy that particular day. We had to record this in 2 parts, which ended up putting us a day behind, which is why this is coming out right in the nick of time. So just wanted to quickly say that the remainder of the picks and predictions video, in the final parts, the audio is not great. Nothing was coming through my microphone. Everything was just coming through the backup recording, which was just my crappy computer / webcam mic. So apologies that the audio is not as good as it was in part 1 and in the opening segment of this video. We've addressed it. We're all good. And the remainder of the videos moving forward, streams, picks and predictions, as well as just everything that we post on this channel, will be better. Thanks for your understanding. Join us for the live stream later today, and back to the predictions. All right, moving up the card here, we have an interesting one. An interesting one in that we have Catfish Ryusei Ashizawa, who, by the way, was featured in the best MMA fight, and J-Wolf, I will go as far as to say the best combat sports fight. Muay Thai, kickboxing, boxing, sumo, grappling, it doesn't matter. This was the best fight this year.
This year, yes.
Yes,
absolutely.
That was featured Super RIZIN 3. It was unbelievable. And Ashizawa is back. Ashizawa is back. This time, though,
he calls out a very established MMA fighter in Ryuya Fukuda, who's 23-8-1, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, and he just knocked out Takizawa in Deep just 3 months ago. Before then, he landed a KO TKO against a 7-3 guy in Deep. He's the pretty big favorite in this one too, coming in at minus 360. 11 KO TKOs, 1 submission, 11 decisions. So I think that's why Ashizawa was like, look, if I'm going to call out an established MMA fighter in RIZIN, in Japan, I'm going to go after a guy who has 1 submission and who goes to decision scrapping with guys and knocking guys out, because that's Ashizawa's game. We see when Ashizawa in mixed martial arts, which funny enough, apparently he's wearing the UFC shorts again, which I think is absolutely hilarious. But when he fights in MMA, he has to fight a guy who has only striking, like Maruyama, like Koji, right? And when he does fight a striker, it's pure magic. It's pure magic. So I just encourage everybody, if you have not seen the Koji versus Ashizawa fight, it's free on RIZIN. Make sure you watch their second fight, the MMA fight, because they have fought in RIZIN in kickboxing before, which, J-Wolf, that was an excellent fight too. But man, like, I'm getting goosebumps just talking and thinking about how amazing that fight was. Like, it was the greatest fight in 2024, and it's not even close. So Ashizawa is game. And you know what? Again, going up against a kickboxing crossover guy in that one, but it showed me that his takedown defense was getting better and his ability to get back up to his feet was getting better. Mind you, it was against a guy who's a kickboxing crossover guy. But anyways, this one, established MMA fighter who is a better striker in the lane of MMA against a kickboxing crossover in Ashizawa who hits hard, has really good boxing, but pretty much that's it in mixed martial arts. How do you see this one going?
You know, I absolutely a great intro, and you're absolutely right. It was definitely one of the fights of the year. And I love how you just say no. It was the fight of the year.
Yeah, it was.
And I love it. I love how you call everybody out too. I saw you on Twitter or on X when they would make a best of list or anything. Even no matter what the list was, you'd always be there going, if you don't have this fight on your best fights of the year list, your list is garbage.
Dude, even Napoleon Blown Apart, one of the best MMA YouTube channels, in my opinion, the best MMA YouTube channel. He did his end of the year awards and end of the year wrap up video, as he's been doing the last 3 years, and he even talked about it. He even said, I cannot end this show without talking about the best fight of the year that occurred in RIZIN. And I'm just like, God, I love that he's even talking about it. And Napoleon Blown Apart, again, he's the GOAT of MMA YouTube.
Excellent. Oh, that's fantastic to hear. And there's been some more media. Do you notice there's been there's been other betting podcasts and they have some couple articles on MMA fighting about this.
Dude, Super RIZIN 3 changed the game. I swear.
Yeah. It did, because that had 48,000 in attendance, and the pay-per-view buys were supposed to be fantastic in Japan, and those are $50 a pop in Japan, so it was a massive success, and like we were saying earlier, it was the biggest combat sports event in Japan of this new era. And it was sensational, and that's fantastic to hear that you said the GOAT YouTuber was talking about it. That's so great to hear. And who I consider the GOAT on X, Kaposa, Kabaka Hitman, he was also talking about it on his best of lists and stuff like that. So I mean, it's so great to see everybody give it props, and you give it props, and you hold them accountable and say, no, that was the fight of the year. If you listen to have it, it's garbage. I just love that. That was awesome. But yeah, for this fight though, how is Fukuda's wrestling? That's what I want to know. How good is his wrestling? You said he only has 1 submission on his record. Does it if Catfish, if Ashizawa, if he picked him because he only had 1 submission and he was mostly a striker, I like that. That makes me want to pick Ashizawa. I feel like that's a very wise thing of Ashizawa to do, to move up in the ladder. He's picking a solid veteran, and then probably after this, if he's successful, he'll go on to pick somebody that's in title contention, and then if not, a title eliminator after that. So I think he's doing the right progression. It just depends on how good is Fukuda's wrestling. if it's excellent or decent, I guess the minus 300 is justified. But if his wrestling is not that good, I don't think I think Ashizawa could be a live dog here. I really do. And I mean, obviously, you don't want to throw a bunch of money down, especially if his Fukuda is minus 300, and he has such a wealth of experience in MMA. But it just depends. Like you're saying, I love that stat that you said that he only has one submission. So that, to me, that tells me that, like, exactly like you're saying, he's a striker first, grappler second, and so it just depends on how good is his wrestling, and will he implement that if he's getting a firefight with Ashizawa and he starts losing, then he's going to go to his wrestling, right? That's what fighters do. So how good is it? Is it good enough to get Ashizawa down and keep him there, right? That's the question. So I don't know. I guess the odds makers think it is, but I love Ashizawa. I mean, from the fight of the year this year, we're just gonna call it straight up fight of the year, like you're saying.
Yep.
So from the fight of the year, I'm rooting for him. I want him to win, so I'm going to pick him. I'm going to say that Fukuda's wrestling is not good enough to keep Ashizawa down, and Ashizawa picked him because he is a striking first mixed martial artist, veteran. So I think this could have the potential for a great upset right here. I mean, I think it's worth it to throw a little bit of a change. I think Ashizawa was a live dog. 100%.
Yeah, at plus 285, honestly, I agree. I agree with everything you said there. If Fukuda can't keep him on the ground and this fight is forced to the feet, I don't think Fukuda, despite him having power, will be able to knock out Ashizawa, because Ashizawa is such a tough guy. I mean, look at the damage that he took in that fight against Koji, right? Like, he is such a tough and just a grinded out fighter with a lot of heart. So if it's forced to stay on the feet, Ashizawa will likely win. Now, it's not like Ashizawa has the craziest knockout power either. He just picks you apart, right? He picks you apart, keeps walking forward, and throws just like sometimes sloppy combos if he's tired, but they're effective, right? Because he's got that long range and he kind of just throws his whole body into a lot of those punches. My only concern, so I'm picking Fukuda to win, even though I do think, Ashizawa, decent underdog decent underdog pick at plus 285. My thing is, whether he's a good grappler or has good wrestling or not, he has that in his back pocket because he's an MMA fighter with, over 30 MMA fights. Whereas Ashizawa doesn't have that in his back pocket. Ashizawa is a striker and that's it. So yes, Catfish has been looking better in his ability to get back up to his feet, but if this does go to the ground, if Fukuda can keep him to the ground, he's gonna win the decision, right? So I'm leaning towards the MMA well-rounded guy, but you said it, Fukuda not known for keeping fights on the ground. Let's see if he gets. Let's see if he wants to prove himself and be like, this is for MMA. I'm going to beat the kickboxer on the feet and not even use other elements of grappling, or if he goes, I can't beat this guy on the feet. Time to wrestle.
Yeah, and also how good has Ashizawa improved? Like,
exactly.
He's been working on his grappling, right? Counter grappling. Now, if he gets tired, like we're saying, right, and he goes to shoot for a takedown, and what if it's a sloppy takedown or something? And Ashizawa, if he's able, if his takedown defense has gotten improved even more, if he's able to stuff like a takedown attempt from Fukuda, Ashizawa will knock him out with a grounded knee or a grounded kick. So I'm really getting more confident in this pick all the time. I really like this pick for Ashizawa. So I'm hoping that he pulls it off.
Hell yeah!
And just for the sensational performance he put on at Super RIZIN 3 with the fight of the year, I
absolute stud.
He deserves the win because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I hope it happens
for sure.
So.
Moving up the card. Oh boy,
next.
I don't like the matchmaking in this one. I'm not gonna lie. Next we have Yamen versus Karshyga Dautbek in this next one. Now, Yamen, amazing kickboxer, amazing kickboxing career, and has put on some
unbelievable wars and some amazing knockouts in his kickboxing career. And honestly, his last MMA fight against Hiroki Suzuki, great win, great knockout. And it was 5 months ago. So, like, the thing about Yaman is he needs to recover from taking damage now to be able to get back into a fight. He can't do quick turnarounds anymore. We've seen him fade quickly in fights. We've seen his chin not be even close to what it used to be when he does those quick Japanese type turnarounds. Because there's a lot of guys on this card who literally fought like a month or some guys even like, 3 weeks ago in Deep or some other promotion. Whereas I'm glad, even though he won his last fight, I'm glad it was 5 months out of a camp. Hope things are going well with that waitress that he wanted to date, but anyways, this ain't a dating show. This is a fight preview. But man, he's got 2 MMA fights. He's 1-1. He's going up against one of the biggest, I don't really want to call him prospects because he's 31 years of age, but one of the most popular MMA fighters outside the UFC right now, because there's even like casual MMA fans who are watching knockout reels and highlights of Dautbek. He's 16-3 as a pro, 5-0 in his last 5 fights, and he is a freaking wrecking ball. Trains out of Tiger Muay Thai, 14 KO TKOs, 1 submission, 1 decision, 2-1 in RIZIN, 1-0 in ACA, 1-0 in ACB, beat Kinoshita in his last fight, Seike, Matsushima, Diego Brandao. I mean, he's been fighting really good opponents on this crazy run. I said he was 5-0 in his last 5 fights. In total, he has a win streak of, what is it right now? 8-fight win streak right now, and his only 2 recent losses were in 2018 and 2019, respectively, to a 9-3 guy and Mikuru Asakura when Asakura was in his prime. He's a wrecking ball, and I get this one probably will be a striking match, and Yaman is a kickboxer. This is MMA. It's still a little different, and Yaman for me is just, he doesn't move enough. He doesn't move enough where Dautbek can give not just striking feints, but he can do level change feints, and you better believe that Yaman is going to bite on a level change feint because he's still new to mixed martial arts, and I bet he's drilling takedown defense because he's an MMA fighter now. He's not going back to kickboxing. And man, I just see this one going Dautbek, like them trading a little bit, Dautbek trying to hit him with something big, Yaman trying to hit him with something big, Dautbek, like I said, teasing the level change, Yaman biting on it, and Dautbek cracking him with something. So I'm going Dautbek on this one. He's minus 400 for a reason. I wrote in my notes, is RIZIN really trying to kill Yaman? Look, Yaman's a pure striker with power. Dautbek is primarily a striker. This one could be fireworks if both of their chins hold up. That this really could be that random, like, maybe fight of the card if it goes to the judges. Dautbek has the power advantage still, in my opinion, and he's more well-rounded. So, like, for whatever reason, and I personally don't think this is the case, but for whatever reason, if for whatever reason Yaman is getting the better of him on the feet, well, Dautbek does have another game. He does have actually a well-rounded style. We just don't see it because he's a wrecking ball. He likes to knock people out. So I'm going with Dautbek. I just think there's a clear power difference, and he has tools in his back pocket if the kickboxing crossover in Yaman does somehow get the better of him on the feet.
Oh yeah, 100% agreed. And Dautbek, he does have grappling, right? We just don't. He just prefers his strike, right?
Yep.
So it's this one is it's not like the Ashizawa Fukuda one where Fukuda is not. We don't know how good his grappling. We know that Dautbek's got grappling, and he's from that region kind of area where was it Kazakhstan or Kyrgyzstan? That's that region.
Yeah, he's Kazakhstan. You know what's crazy though? So out of his 16 wins, 14 of those were first round knockouts.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
Is that a first round? Not a first round. Is he on a finish streak right now? I see. For some reason, I'm remembering that he's got his most recent wins have been nice, badass finishes. 7
finishes in a row out of his 8-fight win streak.
Yeah, okay. He's just
he's a wrecking ball.
One of the best. But like you said, yeah, and we're not going to call him a prospect anymore. He's an up and coming contender, and he's definitely they want to fast track him to the title. And they're obviously hoping that this is going to be a stand up fight. But I think Dautbek's just going to go in there and be like, dude, why am I going to stand and bang with this dangerous kickboxer? And also, he's not only a kickboxer, Yaman also has a lot of experience. He's the one that really popularized the open finger glove, small glove kickboxing in Japan. Right? Remember that was at the match. Remember the biggest kickboxing show. That probably was the biggest combat sports show in Japan until Super RIZIN 3 happened.
Yeah.
Right?
And it did similar numbers in pay-per-view buys, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, it did. And it was massive, absolutely massive. And they have similar numbers in attendance as well, right? 50,000, 48,000. So it was just a massive, massive thing. But Yama was on that card in an open finger gloves, small gloves kickboxing match. And he scored a sensational knockout. And ever since then, it seems like there's been open finger gloves, small gloves, kickboxing on different cards here and there because, and Yama has been doing. So anyways, he's just a fantastic striker. And that's why I'm guessing that they're hoping that this will be a striking battle. But if I'm Dautbek, I'm going to be like, why am I going to risk it with a dangerous striker like this? I'm just going to take him down and see what he's got on the ground. I mean, honestly, I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, I guess he could try to, stand and bang a little bit. But to me, that's dangerous. That's playing with fire. And Dautbek, to me, is a really smart fighter from what I've seen him fight. And I just, I think, the smart thing to do here would be to grapple Yaman and at least take a little bit of gas out of the tank before you start trying to strike with him. Because, obviously striking is his strong point. So, and he does not have, to me, he doesn't. Well, we'll see if he's improved or not. But I mean, I just don't think he's going to be able to improve enough to hang with Dautbek because, like you said, Dautbek is very well rounded. He's one of the guys that we're talking, like you're saying, you need international attention for him, even though he's not UFC, and he's a well-rounded fighter. People have been watching him for a long time. Like one of the good bros on X. I don't know. You probably follow him too. Cerebral Vigilante.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. He's great. He tweets about Dautbek. For Super RIZIN 3, I think he put out a fantastic tweet. They got hundreds of likes and retweets about some Dautbek's highlights and stuff. So he's a very well-known fighter. He's you might call him a hot prospect. He's a hot up-and-comer. He's going to be a contender here soon. And after this bout, I'm sure he's probably going to be in a contender bout sooner rather than later next year. So it just depends on how good his performance is. But I'm guessing, I'm definitely picking Dautbek, and I'm going to go submission, though. I'm not going to go knockout. I'm going to go submission.
All right.
And also, I want to point out about this bout, one last thing, is that Yaman is also known to have the best walkouts. He has won walkout of the night and walkout of the year multiple times. He has fantastic walkouts where, and this is a New Year's show, so everybody's going to have badass walkouts. I seriously think there's going to be several fantastic walkouts, and Yaman is definitely one to watch. Because I don't know if he's going to keep it the same like he's been doing, where he brings out like Vegas showgirl, hot Vegas showgirls, and like skimpy better outfits and stuff, and they're waving flags and Yaman. He's got some badass like house music playing in the background. It's a great. This one year, I think it was a year or two ago, that when Yaman was doing a walkout, that walkout happened. It got a pop from the crowd. I couldn't believe it. It was like an audible pop from the crowd during the walkout because they were enjoying it so much. It was cool.
I love the pageantry. I love the theatrics. Speaking of crazy walkouts, one of the craziest walkouts, and it's a continued story here that I love how both RIZIN's YouTube channel and Confessions are just going to milk it. Take that statement how you want, guys. Yuta Kubo continues to walk out with his now ex-wife, which is hilarious. And apparently their relationship, they're still friends. They're still kind of seeing each other, but also seeing other people. Like I said, RIZIN's Confessions, they're running with this story. They like the drama. They like they like the weirdness here. But yeah, I thought it was very odd that last time Kubo walked out. She walked him out again. And the whole live chat was going, wait, why is she there?
they've separated. And I'm like, wait, there's no way they're separated. She literally like gave him a kiss as he walked into the ring. They're like, no, straight up, they're separated. And I saw the RIZIN feature. I was like, yeah, we just have a weird relationship. And I'm like, all right, so that walkout too will be interesting to see if she's still going to be there next to her.
I think she's going to, and because she's a pop star in Japan, she's like a singer in Japan, and like she's very popular, and that's why it's a very like they focus on that drama because it's really
so it's good for this. It's good for the SEO.
Exactly.
But anyways, Yuta Kubo is taking on yet another amazing fighter out of the Caucasus region. He's out of Kyrgyzstan in Razabali Shadulayev, who is an absolute stud as well. And this one has the biggest odds discrepancy on the card. Shadulayev is the minus 1900 favorite going up against the smiling sniper Kubo, who's plus 1000. Now, I hate seeing boxing odds in MMA, but let's be honest, we know exactly how this is going to go. Shadulayev is going to take Kubo down and he's going to submit him or ground and pound him in, honestly, the first round, right? It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. Why Kubo got this matchup? A, he's a popular name, but B, the guy deserved to step up in competition. He's 5-1 as a pro in mixed martial arts, coming over from kickboxing, where he was an absolute stud. He has a granite chin, by the way. Like, he doesn't get knocked out. Like, I don't think he was brutally knocked out in that one either. He's pretty durable, and he's on a 5-fight win streak. That's why he earned this step up in competition. That's why he earned this, spot up the card. He has 2 KO TKOs, 1 submission, funny enough, and 2 decisions. And yeah, his only loss in mixed martial arts, which was his first fight against against Shinobu Ota, was a decision, right? It was a custom rules fight where he lost via armbar. We're not going to count that. But, Ota doesn't know how to finish someone to save his life, other than, I guess, Ashizawa. But, like, went up against Ota, went to a decision. Ota couldn't even finish him, ground and pound or submission. And since then, has he taken on the best competition? No, but he beat Takahashi, who's 14-8 at the time. He beat Takeki Kinoshita, who had 12 fights under his belt. And yeah, man, and he beat Yutaka Saito, who's 21-8-2, and he beat him with a body kick finish. So, like, Yuta Kubo, we know he is an outstanding striker, but this is just going to be way too much of a step up in competition in the world of mixed martial arts. Has he improved in his takedown defense? Absolutely. Has he improved his ground game? 100%. But to go up against a guy like Shadulayev, who's undefeated, 11-0 as a pro, 2 KO TKOs, 9 decisions, 9 submissions, no decisions. He's 3-0 in ACA, which is a tough league, 2-0 in RIZIN. He's fought in UAE Warriors, where he's fought some legit opponents, 12-1-1 guys. He's beaten undefeated guys in Road FC. Like, dude, this guy's fought in ACA, Road FC, and RIZIN, and he's beaten top guys in every promotion. He beat Koji Takeda and freaking Juan Archuleta in his first 2 RIZIN fights, for fuck's sakes. Like, and he tore through Juan Archuleta, dude. And, like, Juan's a wrestler. He tore through him, man. So Shadulayev is going to tear through Kubo, man. It's a horrible stylistic matchup, but, like, I get why they put this fight together, because, the top guys in the division have to fight the top guys in the division, and whether you like it or not, Kubo's earned his spot there with a 5-fight win streak.
I guess this is a matchup I don't really like, because it's the odds are right. This is way too much for Kubo at this point. Shadulayev is this is the guy, if you remember when he got signed to RIZIN, it was a big deal. They actually got like a press release and everything. This is RIZIN's hottest signing.
Yeah, they outbid Alash Pride, they outbid Octagon with a C. Like, he's on the UFC's radar. Like, yeah, dude, promotions want him.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, really good fighter, and he's a grappler too. That's why I don't get why they're putting him up against Kubo, because Kubo's a kickboxing crossover. And he showed. But I guess you're right.
Title eliminator, though, maybe, man. Maybe title eliminator. That's why. Because, again, 5-fight win streak in the division. Shadulayev undefeated, 2-0 in RIZIN. Maybe to them, this is like, okay, we're going to find one of our next title contenders out of this matchup. Because, like I said, whether you like it or not, Kubo's winning. A 5-fight win streak is no joke.
Yeah, no, you're right. And he would have to face him eventually So they're probably thinking, well, might as well do it now in a title eliminator. So that would make sense if it was an unofficial title eliminator. I actually think they should have switched up the matchups and had Kubo face Yaman and Dautbek face Shadalayev.
Well, no. That's the thing, though. You said it there. I actually wrote in my notes. If this isn't an unofficial title eliminator, then if Dautbek and Shadalayev each win, that's the next fight.
Yeah, that should be a title eliminator.
Yeah.
The winner of that bout should fight for the title next, and hopefully that's actually what. You know what? I wonder if that's what they're planning on doing. I wonder if they're planning on, the winners of Yaman, Dautbek, and Kubo and Shadalayev, the winners face each other for a title eliminator, and the losers face each other. Because Kubo and Yaman, I think that'd be a fantastic fight.
Oh, hell yeah. That would be a war.
Yeah. So maybe that's what they're going to do. Maybe that's what they're going to do. They're going to match up the winners of this fight in a title eliminator, and then they'll match up the losers to have a striker's delight. And one of them will get rebound on that win. So that's probably what they're going to do. So, okay, I like this matchup a little bit more now. But definitely picking Shadalayev. The kid is incredible. He's definitely on the fast track to getting the title shot. And like they're saying, he's on everybody's radar, including the UFC. He's just an incredible talent. So I'm really excited about him. But, this matchup is, I just felt bad for Kubo because, he was doing so good. This is, to me, and he was overmatched. He's just overmatched. But you know what? Like you're saying, he was going to have to face them eventually. And he's he's earned a streak right now to where he's on a streak so good right now where he's earned a shot at the top competition to get him in title position. So I guess you're right. I guess it does make sense. It's just, I don't know. I would have liked him to, I don't know. It's just because Shadalayev is such a beast. It's I just feel bad for Kubo because it's like a guaranteed loss. That's why the odds are so lopsided. But hopefully it'll be a good one. And it's probably just be a first round submission though. That's what I would bet on. First round submission, Shadalayev.
Yes,
that's my pick.